Greetings, One players all over the world. I hope I find you safe and well. It's time to introduce another top athlete into the One Play Sports Wall of Fame. We are crossing live not to the south of India, but to the south of Phuket to speak to Indian Olympic swimmer Sajan Prakash. Sajan, are you there? Safe and well, I hope. Sajan, are you with us? There you are.
Yeah, all good here.
Good to see you, buddy. Now, we've been speaking to the likes of Sindhu, to Saurav Ghoshal, all the people we speak to all over the world. The first point of order has to be how COVID has affected them. And, of course, it's affected you first and foremost by the fact that you are not exactly stranded, but you're currently have been in Phuket for an awfully long time.
Yeah, first of all, we have not swam from March till mid of June, and it's been around 3.5 months. First I thought being in Phuket is like, I thought I would miss home because we were not training and stuff. But later I thought I'm in the best place in the world right now, because being not under lockdown, not being any cases till now for 2 months right now, we are able to train and we keep thriving.
Yes, I know that they've had world-class facilities at that Tanyapura complex that is your base. Obviously, you're a beneficiary of that incredible Athena Scholarship. Congratulations on that, because I know it's given you a huge help in your bid to try and get that elusive Olympic A qualifying time. But it must be difficult being away from home. I seem to remember in 2018 when you were at the Asian Games in Jakarta, you had that terrible situation with the floods in Kerala back there and you couldn't contact your family. I suppose at least with this, you can keep in regular contact with your family, even though you must miss them terribly. But at least it's a slightly better situation than back with the floods in 2018.
It's sad at that time during the Asian Games. My family back in Kerala was facing those flood and the worst situations. But always the sports persons they work for this moment, and then they don't want to lose this moment because of any other reason. So I knew the news that they were affected in the flood, but I did not let it affect my performance. Even though I was nervous, I can't give those reasons that it affected me, that I didn't win a medal. You know. But being away from the family, I've been quite experiencing this from 2011, where I came out of Neyveli to Bangalore to train under the national team. And then from then I was just staying alone, and my mother would come to me and help me sometimes with the food, and she takes care of me well. But I've been away from my family for a long time. And I think every sports person, if they want to achieve in that level, they have to compromise on those things.
Yeah, it's all about sacrifice, isn't it? Well, listen, you've mentioned your mother, so let's talk about your mother, Vijay Shantimal, because in her own right, she was a very accomplished track and field athlete. But I hope you don't mind talking about it, Sajan, because it's quite a rarity. When we speak to a lot of particularly elite Indian athletes, they tend to come from well-to-do families, good middle to upper class backgrounds, and they're blessed with incredible family support. But you're one of that rare breed that have got where you've got from a single-parent family. And obviously, I'm assuming you give all the credit in the world to your mother for that. But talk us through how it was developing as an athlete without a father figure to necessarily lean on.
Yeah, of course, it's really difficult for a single parent, that to a mother, to raise a kid in these circumstances and able to put it in that higher level of performance, because she had the sports background and she could understand the toughness of what a sports person goes through. And I think from her point of view, she has done a job which would satisfy her right now. And I would make sure I would keep on making her proud.
Well, listen, I don't think there's any question that she'd be incredibly proud of you, Sajan. You'd be a credit to anyone's family with your achievements. And, of course, you're still 26. Let's hope the best is yet to come. But talk me back to your start in swimming and sport in general, because I know your mother was track and field. Now, you initially started in track and field, didn't you? But did I read this right? You would have continued with track and field, but you suffered from flat feet. And that's what led you to the swimming pool. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, my mom was a track and field athlete. So she had put me in track and field as well first. But just because to be more athletic, she had put me in many other sport.
Yeah.
But then I ended up in swimming. Well, that's how I started focusing more on swimming, on the swimming side.
And when was it you realised you were good enough in the pool to represent India and to make the Olympics as you did brilliantly in Rio in 2016? At what age did you start thinking, listen, I'm good enough at this to make it at the elite level?
Yeah, so if I can say, I started swimming at the age of around 6, and it's been 20 years of swimming right now. But when I started it, I was playing many other sports as well. But I realized that, when you're a kid, you don't really know what you're doing. Like, you just want to play around. And the age of 12, I think I got to know many of ideas about swimming and more focus into that. But when I moved to Bangalore at the age of 17, that's when everything changed really. Like, I got to explore more about international swimming and training with the champions from India. And that's when the real change happened. I saw the Olympians and I got the chance to train with the Olympians. So I feel at the age of 17, I got to see the side of international swimming.
How important at international level in swimming are coaches? It's a question I spoke to Sindhu about, Saurabh as well, because you've gone through a number of coaches. I believe you're currently with Miguel Lopez, who looks after your training there in Thailand. I mean, as a swimmer, how important is it? Because I think Miguel Lopez has taken something like a second off your personal best in the couple of years you've been working with him. How crucial to a swimmer is the role of the coach?
First of all, swimming is a technical sport, and it gets very technical because we work in the water. And then I came to Phuket in 2015. That's when I met Miguel here, and it's been 5 years right now. And at the age of 17, when I went to Bangalore, I was at 2 minutes and 12 seconds in the 200 butterfly. And at 2015, when I just moved out of Bangalore to Phuket, I was a 2-minute swimmer. So at the age of 21, I met Miguel. I was a 2-minute swimmer. That's when in 2016, I broke the 2 minutes barrier and I qualified for the Olympics doing a 1:59.37. And because I also worked with Miguel and my coach back in India, Mr. Pradeep Kumar, they agreed to work together. So I do the loading phase with Miguel Lopez and the sprint, the taper phase with my Indian coach, Mr. Pradeep Kumar. So they have got an understanding, and I feel I'm really lucky about it because many coaches don't do that. They don't send his swimmer outside at the main stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you've effectively got two world-class coaches working together. You almost got two for the price of one.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about times, because it amazed me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in all the research I've done, there has never been an Indian swimmer who's made the Olympic A qualifying time. Is that right? Never before has an Indian cracked the Olympic
Nobody has ever done A qualifying in swimming.
Yeah, so your PB at the moment for the 200 fly is 1 minute 57.73, and the Olympic A qualifying time 1:56.48. Now, obviously, no one's had ideal training over the past 4 to 6 months, but do you believe deep down, you're still young enough at 26, do you believe you've got that improvement in you to get that A qualifying time?
Of course, for sure, because during the lockdown period, we did not stop. Even with the timings and everything, the fitness, we maintained everything possible we could. From waking up at the same time where we used to swim at 6 in the morning, from doing the cardiovascular activities, but we tried to maintain our fitness. I personally feel if there is no break in the training continuously till the Olympics, I could make it to the A qualifying. I'm sure that.
Well, the good news, I suppose, and again, we talk about the Olympics, a lot of athletes disappointed that Tokyo 2020 won't be happening in 2020, but will be in 2021. But you're one of those rare breed where it's worked to your advantage because you have been dealing with a neck injury, but I'm assuming
That's
the
right.
delay in Tokyo is worked in your favour now. You've got an extra 12 months, not just to crack the A time, but to make sure the neck is fully healed.
Yeah, everyone said I'm very lucky, but also I've trained at the last moment. During January 2020, that's when I was diagnosed with neck injury,
Yep.
and then I stopped completely. So I feel I have a very long extra time right now to qualify still. Yeah, I'm positive about it.
Yeah, and okay, I must actually mention this because you probably can't see it where you are, but you know of the existence of this video because it's from your own Instagram page. Take a look at this. Sajan knows what I'm talking about. You'll get to see it watching at home now. What on earth is going on here? I've never seen an Olympic swimmer training in a paddling pool before. You've got a bit of hose pipe round your waist. Now, explain to people who've just seen that what's happening with you in that paddling pool. Is that while you couldn't get into the swimming pool in Phuket, you just had to try and improvise?
Yeah, because swimmers get affected because if you don't have the feel of water, and when you go back to the normal training phase, you are going to get injured. So it's mainly for just to have the feel of water. And my coach got that small tub, so we could just tie ourselves and then swim in that.
So what is
just
that?
To keep the shoulders moving.
Is that a hose pipe round your waist? Because it just seems to be holding you up. But I mean, it's surreal. Talk about improvisation. And because again, to explain to people where you are in Tanyapura, you are, as I said already, a beneficiary of Athena Scholarship, which is a great initiative to try and produce Olympic and world-class swimmers from some of the countries that aren't necessarily associated with such. But you train at Tanyapura, which is a world-class multi-sport facility in Phuket. But with that comes a boarding situation. I'm assuming you're with swimmers from other countries as well. Talk us through the setup you've got there in Tanyapura and who you're training with in terms of fellow swimmers.
So I'm the only swimmer who has been, and one more swimmer training with me, continuously training for the past 5 years. And I think it's my fourth scholarship, which has been renewed from the last targeting Rio 2016. And currently I'm training with the 16 nationalities, which all are the Athena Scholarship holders. We all train together. We all stay at the same boarding houses, two per room. And every year they keep changing. So every scholarship, the federation sends new swimmers to the center.
Who's your current roommate? What nationality is your current roommate?
My current roommate was a Bhutanese swimmer.
Bhutan? So, I mean, again, run us through the country. So you've got India there, you've got Bhutan. What other nations? Is it mainly Asian nations that are there in Thailand?
Currently, there are nationalities from Syria, Sudan. I'll go by room. So Madagascar, Bhutan, Brunei, Solomon Islands, Malawi, Papua New Guinea, and I think
that's
Cook
enough.
Islands and Micronesia.
Cook Islands as well. My word, but it's like a bit like the United Nations there. It must be fantastic from a social perspective. Yeah. But that kind of leads me on to what I want to talk about next. Now, but we mentioned before, single-parent family. I'm sure your mother, Vijay Shantimore, had challenges, not just bringing you up, but obviously trying to support you as you made your way in professional sport. India, we talked about this again with Sindhu, and we talked about it with Saurav. It's so cricket-dominated. There's not the government funding that people might imagine for even a blue-ribboned sport like swimming. I mean, without this Athena Scholarship, you wouldn't have been able to really continue your career as we know it now, would you?
You're right, but I'm very lucky that I got this Athena Scholarship because I wouldn't know what would have been I've come through if I didn't have the scholarship.
Yeah.
So I'm really thankful to my federation and FINA that they are giving me the scholarship and supporting me at this time because many high-level athletes, they struggle financially still, and swimming is not well recognized in India. And because it is very technical, we need a lot of the best infrastructures. If you want to compete with the best in the world, you need to have that much infrastructure and facilities to train with.
I mean,
you know.
yeah, that's just, I mean, there are other, top-end swimmers. You're probably leading the pack, certainly, in terms of Olympic swimmers, but you've got Verdev Al-Qadi. There are other swimmers out there. How quickly is swimming going in the right direction for you at the top level in India? Are more youngsters getting involved with it, or do you think more needs to be done to try and encourage a new generation of Indian swimmers?
There are many swimmers like Kushagra, Sri Hari, and Advait Page and Aryan. There are many young swimmers. They are really doing well and upping the standard of the Indian swimming right now. But we are still lacking compared to the world stage. And I think the federation is upping the game also right now to do it better. Hopefully, we need a right setup. We need technically improve everything. It's not that we don't have the right talents here, but we need to up the game really. We need to bring in a lot of biomechanic scientists and everyone, and we need to work as a team. We rarely get a national camp where, like, if you say per year, we just get 1 month of national camp. We need to get a longer period of camps, and the Indian team needs to work together as a project.
Yeah, I mean, your sentiments there, I think, are going to be very well received. Talk me through this. Obviously, the Olympics, for those sports that have Olympic categories, are the blue ribbon, particularly in India. If you can get a gold medal representing India, you can write your own ticket. You're almost famous for life overnight. But you made a very interesting comment that I read. You said people have to start forgetting about thinking that getting to the Olympics is the holy grail. We need to start thinking about winning medals at the Olympics. And the quote that is attributed to you that I'd like you to explain for people watching this is, it's not just about working hard, it's about working smart. Explain to people what you mean by that.
For this, I would say the coaches needs to also educate themselves a lot, because from my background, when I think about it, when I was young, I didn't know much about Olympics, and all I knew is about just getting to the Olympics. And when I went to Olympics in 2016, I finished 28th in 200 butterfly. I thought I was good enough, but when I went there, I felt like I'm not even close to where these guys are, And that's when I was really motivated, and we need to really start telling the youngsters to look ahead. There is no full stop for success. You cannot put a limit on your success limit. You need to keep going. You need to, even if you reach the level, you need to keep a next target to achieve more and more. So look ahead, look for an Olympic podium, then you reach somewhere else. Then from there, you need to keep motivating yourself to push you even harder every day.
By the way, talking about Rio 2016, is it right you had a bit of a wardrobe malfunction? Did something go wrong with your swimming cap in the warm-up room?
Right. So this is my like a ritual. You wear the same cap, same goggles, which is lucky for you, and then you go to the call room. I was not tensed. I was not nervous because I knew I came for one event. I'm not anywhere close to the podium. So I was cool. I went there. Then just before the event, I tore my cap when I was just wearing it. I was just the 21-year-old swimmer where that I don't understand about big things, and I got really tense. I started running to my bag, and I didn't have a cap. And suddenly the speed of people were there, and they gave me a cap, and I came back to the block. I was immature, and then, I should have had a spare cap with me, but
well, I'm sure.
Okay.
Listen, I'm sure you'll have that spare cap in Tokyo in 2021. What's the latest as you understand it? Because, of course, we're coming to you live from the Singapore Sports Hub here. You're obviously there in Phuket. We're in the Singapore Sports Hub. We can literally see the OCBC Aquatic Centre from where we are, which is where you enjoyed arguably your biggest success last year, winning the Singapore Open. Obviously, that event has gone by the by for this year. What's your plan now? What are Athena telling you in terms of events, and what is your target between now and when you get to Tokyo, all being well, next year?
Since I was under a rehab and I'm coming through, in fitness-wise, I'm better, but technical-wise, there are a lot of things to work on. So it's about cutting down 1.4 seconds in the 200-meter butterfly. That means I need to open faster on the first part of the race, where I am still lacking in. So getting to the A qualification mark and, if possible, to race after January, that's what we are looking at. So a couple of meets before Tokyo, that would be great. But we still don't know what's the situation going to be.
Yeah, it's very uncertain, isn't it? I mean, we were talking to Saurav about the squash, obviously Sindhu with the badminton, but in terms of where your next competitive race is going to be, I'm assuming you can't really answer that question. Nobody can right now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, it's been a pleasure to speak to you, Sajan. As I do with everyone, I'm going to finish up with some questions for you. The answers are either or, okay? So there's only two options. You've got to give me one or the other. Are you ready?
Okay.
Freestyle or butterfly?
B.
Butterfly. Deep end or shallow end?
Shallow end.
Okay, shallow end. Budgie smugglers or board shorts?
Board shorts.
Board shorts. Bearing in mind you're in Phuket, but you're an Indian through and through. Phuket or Goa?
Phuket.
Phuket. I tell you what, looking after the locals there in Phuket, I'm sure looking after you well. And finally, bearing in mind you are in Phuket as well, do you prefer a night out or a night in?
Night in.
Night in. Great stuff. Listen, Sajan, for everyone here at One Play Sports, we wish you bon chance and safe passage, and we hope that you there in Phuket all see this COVID situation through. I'm sure you'll join us in wishing all your family watching this back in India all the health and good fortune in the world. Stay strong, buddy. Stay safe, and we will be monitoring your progress very carefully here to hope you get that required time to go to Tokyo with that Olympic A qualifying time under your belt. Stay safe, Sajan. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Sajan Prakash there from Phuket. India's Olympic swimmer. Will be seeing him in Tokyo in 2021. And you never know. It could be that the delay in the Olympic Games is to his benefit. He's managed to repair that neck, and he thinks he's got the improvement in him time-wise to be a real force in the 200 meters fly at the Olympics in Tokyo next year.